Good morning, and thank you for joining us for our River City Partner Forum. My name is Vanita Doggett, and I have the honor of serving as the Director of Development for the College of Education. We're excited to be joined this morning by our COE leadership, students, and corporate and district partners to share our experience with River City and its impact on our local education community. River City Partnership is a collaborative program created in 2018 between the University of Memphis, Shelby County Schools, and our local charter school partners as a way to address community needs by recruiting and retaining new educators, as well as being responsive to issues that are at the forefront of education, such as equity and inclusion. We're joined this morning by the College of Education's very own Dr. Tammy Combs, Assistant Dean Dr. Alfred Hall, and Dean Candy Hill Clark to give us a brief overview of the program and its genesis. So I will turn it over now to Dean Hill Clark and Dr. Candy Hill, Dean Candy Hill Clark and Dr. Alfred Hall. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much, Vanita, for that kind introduction. Good morning, and thank you all for attending today's Partnership Forum. We are excited to share with you more about the College of Education's River City Teacher Scholars Program. I would like to take a few minutes to thank President Rudd and Provost Neenan for their continued support of the River City Partnership Program. We could not do this groundbreaking and impactful work if it were not for the generous and kind support of our corporation and foundation partners, as well as our individual donors. And we extend our sincere gratitude and appreciation to each of you for believing in us, and most importantly, for believing in and investing in our scholars. And finally, a big thanks goes to our dynamic and hardworking RCP leadership team, Dr. Celia Anderson and Dr. Tammy Combs, our coordinators, and the faculty, as well as our colleagues in development and advancement. We launched the River City Teacher Scholars Program fully in fall of 2019. The goal of the River City Partnership Program is to recruit, train, prepare, and inspire equity-minded, culturally competent teachers who are strong in their content knowledge and delivery of instruction as they teach with Shelby County Schools and our local charters. The RCP strategy consists of 4 key drivers. 1, selecting and preparing local future teachers who demonstrate cultural competence. 2, deepening future teachers' understanding of the Memphis context. 3, engaging future teachers with the communities in which they will teach. And finally, 4, preparing future teachers who have strong knowledge and skill regarding the what and how of effective teaching. Our Grow Your Own initiative is in partnership with Shelby County Schools and our local partners and charters, and is focused on local Memphis recruitment, co-developed, culturally relevant, equity-minded, and community-centered preparation, and intentional and deliberate clustered placements for field and clinical experiences. The River City Partnership Program has 3 key components and entry points. 1, our Summer Bridge Teacher Scholars Program. 2, our undergraduate River City Teacher Scholars Program, which also includes our I Am a Man, I Teach initiative. And finally, 3, the Master of Arts in Teaching River City Teacher Scholars Program. Again, I thank you for your continued and ongoing support, and hope that you will enjoy today's forum and hearing from our partners and our outstanding scholars. And at this time, I will turn it over to my colleague, Assistant Dean Dr. Alfred Hall. Dr. Hall?
Thank you, Dean Hill Clark, and good morning again to each of you. We're in the process of preparing for our third cohort of students this fall. We're very excited to have students matriculating through our program and to bring all of the ideas and concepts that created the River City Partnership to fruition as our students are experiencing with us every day here at the University of Memphis. Our first cohort of students is preparing to enter their junior year this fall, in which they will begin their pre-residency experiences in our partner schools with Shelby County Schools. We're also mindful of the transitions that our second cohort of students experienced. Our current freshmen had to transition into college life in the midst of a global pandemic. Many of them were not able to have formal graduation ceremonies or their senior proms, and even the orientation sessions of transitioning from high school to the university were all done virtually last year. And we had to align the specific supports and assistance that our students needed to help transition to a virtual learning environment. Also, more importantly, our students were able to participate in a series of conversations that was entitled the Equity in Action series. These conversations addressed recent current and national events pertaining to equity, social justice, and systemic racism. Our scholars were able to realize the power of their own voice as they began to describe their own experiences as students in K-12 schools and how they, in their own growth and development, can envision themselves teaching students like themselves and what that means to them in their own identity development, as well as their future aspirations for working with other students in our community. Dean Hill-Clark also mentioned our program within the program that speaks to our male students who are preparing to teach in our urban schools. That's referred to as I Am a Man, I Teach. We're very excited about our partnerships with Dr. Michael Lowe, the Director of Equity with Shelby County Schools, with whom you'll hear from whom you'll hear later, as well as the Man Up initiative in the greater Memphis area under the leadership of Dr. Patrick Washington, of organizing a series of conversations of men who are preparing not only to teach, but especially those preparing to teach in elementary schools. And so all of these ideas and opportunities that are coming together through the River City Partnership have truly come to life. And we're so fortunate to work with an engaged group of scholars who have made great sacrifices and commitments to make a difference in the Memphis area by being an exceptional teacher in the classroom. So with that, we'll turn it back over to Vanita and Matt to set up our panel from whom you're here for our session today.
Thank you so much, Dean Hill-Clark and Dr. Hall. We just really appreciate the vision and the leadership that you've brought to this unique and impactful partnership. I'm Matt Walker. I'm the Director of Foundation Relations here at the University of Memphis, and it is my pleasure to further this discussion on the River City Partnership as we welcome our panelists for today. I invite Dr. Michael Lowe, the Director of Equity and Access for Shelby County Schools, to join me on screen. We're extremely grateful for the partnership that we have with Shelby County Schools. I'd also like to thank Miss Amy Grove from International Paper. She's the Manager of Community Engagement and Executive Director for the Employee Relief Fund at International Paper. We are, of course, grateful for the International Paper's support of the River City Partnership as well. Also joining us today are three of our River City scholars, U of M students, Bria Hines, Cody Cameron, and Braylon Horton. I want to thank them for taking time out of their busy schedules to join us today as well. Before we kick off our discussion for today, I would like to remind our viewers to submit questions using the Q&A function at the bottom of the screen. I understand we've had a little bit of technical difficulty this morning with some of our viewers joining us, but we're working on that behind the scenes. So panelists, we'll start with Dr. Lowe. So why are Grow Your Own Teacher pipeline initiatives like the College of Education's River City Partnership Teacher Scholars Program needed?
Well, first of all, thank you for the opportunity. These programs like this are needed because our students, we know about the research, we know about the struggles, and we know about all of the reflection and things that matter for our students. In our school populations in the United States, and especially in Memphis as well, over 70%, over 60% of our students are students of color. And yet our pipeline programs, most of all in surrounding colleges and universities, they don't always try to recruit or have the candidates that are best suited to be culturally aware, to be able to bring out a sense of belonging in the classroom for our students. So these pipeline programs are there not only to begin to grow and help our young people marinate in the philosophy of good teaching pedagogy and being able to develop and create a great place to work, but they're there to really match the needs of our students. The students in Memphis and Shelby County, you know, the further we go away from the classroom, the more agnostic we become to education. So we have to stay close to the classroom. And the first effort to improve education is to find great teachers. This partnership with the University of Memphis River City Partnership is so important, and it's an integral piece in developing the best talent possible within Memphis and Shelby County. So our students, they need the best teachers, and they need to see more teachers that look like them. So these partnerships are invaluable.
Thank you, Dr. Lowe. Ms. Grow, how do you see the River City Partnership Program supporting your corporate initiatives?
Yeah, well, you know, International Paper, we are one of the world's leading producers of renewable fiber-based packaging. And we are committed to investing in people and being a force for good in our communities. And our global community engagement efforts, we focus on 4 critical needs. And the first of those is education. We also focus on hunger, health and wellness, and disaster relief, but education is of significant and particular importance in our community, wherever we operate, but particularly here, our headquarters, our world headquarters in Memphis. And so as we looked at our community engagement efforts and in education, we wanted to focus on we developed a 6-point education strategy, talking to experts and people that are out there doing this incredible work in our community. And we focused on programs that are embedded in schools. So, you know, programs that have teacher training and mentorship programs, summer regression and learning loss, particularly with literacy. Making sure that the students have and programs have books and materials and those experiences to help them be able to succeed, and the programs that have a parent and family component so that that those kids can get the support that they need with their education both at home as well. So, and if you look at all of our signature causes, we include a commitment to programs that support equity and inclusion and ways to engage our employees and connections to our communities. And so really, when you look at the River City Partnership Program, it fits all of these points of our education strategy. And with the embedded programs, the support, making sure that the program, we really particularly love how the program is recruiting and training and focused on populations that are underrepresented, so that we know the students want, including, we talked about this, African American and Latino males, focused on partnerships in schools that need it the most. And for all of the reasons that Dr. Lowe mentioned, why it's really important for Shelby County Schools, we really felt that that matched perfectly with our strategy in education. So we think it's been a great partnership and really helped us advance our corporate initiatives in education.
Thank you for that. So we've heard from Shelby County Schools and from International Paper's perspective. Now, scholars, I'm interested to hear from you guys. So what inspires you and excites you about becoming a teacher in Shelby County Schools?
Well, I would say my inspiration would be the opportunity to become involved in the community and teaching my future students on a holistic level.
For me, it would be just the overall feel of the classroom and connecting with the students, and overall just seeing what fits best, working around them and what makes them happy in the classroom, more in tune with learning and just the overall feel and joy of learning.
So far through my experience with the River City Partnership Program, we've been given teachers who support the RCP ideals, and that's really inspired me because it's helped to frame my thinking towards what we're getting ready to do. And it's really inspiring to see how these teachers supporting the RCP framework think about it and how they see it. And it makes all the sense in the world and inspires me too much.
Thank you for that. If I can bring Dr. Lowe back in, I have a question about how we can engage the community as we work to change the narrative around choosing teaching as a profession.
I think Matt, engaging the community means inviting them to our schools, inviting them to our colleges of education, inviting them to the classroom, showing film, showing great teachers teach and showing great teachers getting coached up, showing just the positivity of a teacher having an effect on a young person's life, and just inviting the cameras in, or inviting parents and church people, pastors, community civics leaders, business leaders, just to the schools. Let them see the practice of a master teacher. Let them see the effect of these young people that are striving to become teachers, and let them be able just to espouse the need for, I got into education because I, as Bree said, I want to be a social change agent. Teaching is an act of social justice. And if we do not do this work, we're no longer valuable to the people that we serve. We have to do this work. I'm very passionate on Dr. Hall, Dean Hill Clark. All of us are passionate about education, but also we have to leave something behind. And to get community involved, they need to see the effects of young people developing their craft, just like a surgeon in the hospital practicing surgery. They go through a residency. They need to see our teachers and our young people going through what we call our teaching residency, our practices, learning how we sharpen and get better and stronger, and also see young people achieving, seeing those students being able to read. It is a pure miracle to teach a child to read, starting from pre-K, kindergarten, first grade, to see them read their first book. That's magical. So I think inviting people to see, not just the middle schooler or the high schooler, but show that first kindergarten or that pre-primer book and let them read their first sentence or their first book. That's the magic we can invite community members and people to see. And these young people being a part of that, I think will stir up the passion for everybody to know that teaching is magic.
Thank you. So talking about the experience of people being able to go in the classroom and see what's going on and the impact that brings, I'd love to know from our scholars here, what has been your experience as a College of Education River City Partnership scholar, and also what's a key aspect of this program that's been the most impactful and beneficial to you?
I really feel as though my favorite part of the experience and the key factor with it has been the cohort model of it. The cohort model has supported us so much by keeping us with peers that we know, which supports you in class, but it also supports in building friendships the most too. Because a large part of college that you get told about as you grow up is, when you go to college, you make new friendships, you make new lifelong friends. And that helps you a lot, especially whenever you're in the same classes with those friends. They let you know if, hey man, we got a test coming up, let's study, all this other stuff. And I really feel like the River City Partnership has really put in a fail proof for us. It's really felt like it's a fail proof partnership for us. It feels like it's like they've given us so much support that it kind of makes it a little bit difficult for us to fail, even if we're not doing the best in that moment.
For my experience, it'd be the community of learners. Just the overall, connecting off Cody, the overall wanting to learn and grow, the passion about teaching that we have, and as well as the I Am a Man, I Teach movement that I've been a part of. Just seeing insight of Dr. Hall as a man as well, who's been through a lot, his experiences and how it helped and shaped him grow as a community leader and an educator. And so just those experiences and just being out in the community and seeing what we can do as males is also very impactful. And how can we impact other males and just overall all students in the classroom and be a positive figure in those individuals' lives as they grow up and have an impact on them as they remember who we are and how we help them.
For me, my experience has been phenomenal. I agree with everything that Cody and Braylon have said, but I would also like to add that it's been really impactful to see the COE faculty give that modeling of perseverance and positive attitudes that I will take into my future classroom. And the one key aspect that I really appreciate is the encouragement and effort brought towards having those social, cultural, and political conversations revolving around the classroom that will help me and prepare me to teach my students on a holistic level.
Thank you. And as we continue to kind of talk about the impact of this program, I'd love to invite Amy back on the screen to kind of give her perspective on what sort of impact the River City Partnership is making on you know, our business partners in Memphis. And specifically, do you find that this program has positively impacted employee recruitment and retention in the Memphis area?
Yes, obviously, you know, first off, we want to have a talented and educated, you know, workforce in Memphis. And I think that's the obvious, but it goes beyond that. And, you know, we just launched our Vision 2030 goals, which are really our path. It's going to guide our path over the next 10 years as a company. And one of the things that are in those goals are our thriving people and communities, because we know that our company can't succeed if our community doesn't. And so those thriving people and community goals focus on our employee well-being and our employee training, having a caring, inclusive workforce, and then also strengthening the resilience of our communities. And I think that River City Partnership helps us do that by having, you know, and helping us ensure that we have a talented, educated workforce, that we have a resilient community, that whether they work for International Paper or not, we want to have a strong community here in Memphis. And I think that this partnership does a lot to do that. And I think, you know, listening to the students that are going through the program, it's no different than what we do with our employees at International Paper. They don't have all the training and education when they walk through the door that they need to succeed and do their job. We as a company work with our employees and continue to educate, and they develop their skills with you know, individuals within our company and a supportive mentorship environment. And we know that succeeds in the corporate world. And I think that we know that that's what's needed in education. And that's what this program provides to those students. So we're really happy to be, you know, support this program. And I think part of our 2030 goals is we have a goal of impacting 100 million lives by 2030. So that's a big, bold goal for us. And I really think that the River City Partnership, when you look at the exponential impact, so each one of these teachers goes into a classroom and impacts how many students, that programs like this are really gonna would ensure us to be able to hit those goals and help build these resilient communities.
Wonderful. Dr. Lowe, you know, as we are working to prepare equity-minded teachers, which is a primary focus of the River City Partnership, how can we, in your view, leverage current and potential collaborative opportunities?
Well, I think we've already started on a great collaboration between the University of Memphis, River City Partnership. I am a man, I teach. We also in Shelby County have our Secure the Chalk, where we are at Dr. Hall has been very gracious in giving his time to talk to those that are interested in education. We did have one virtual visit to one of our high schools, Central High School, and he did talk to some potential candidates. But just again, coming in, spreading the word, continuing to partner throughout Shelby County, not just Shelby County schools, but our charter networks as well. I think we need to develop more of our partnership videos and let people see the works that we are doing and the partnership extended to help defer the cost of books, defer the cost of tuition. If you want to be a teacher in the city of Memphis in this urban context for Black and brown students, I think we can continue to lift this, continue to advertise, and let them know. And Dr. Hall and I, we had our conversation with those young men at Central High School, and we told them, you know, right now, coming out of college, debt-free and getting a job, you teach in one of our highest need continuous improvement zone schools, you can make almost $50,000. And coming out, a young man, a young woman, particularly working in one of our high need areas, making $50,000 debt-free, that's good money in this Memphis economy. So even relaying to the fact that we are relieving financial burdens and you can come out with your degree. And we also have a contract saying if you're going through this teaching program, we will guarantee you a job in 4 years. Shelby County Schools will guarantee you a teaching placement within our school system. And, you know, we have three different, we have our regular schools, and we have our high priority, we have our empowerment zone schools, innovation zone schools, and continuous improvement. Each one of those levels of schools, they come with a bonus pay. So even partnering to sell that through the River City Partnership and the University of Memphis to say, hey, these are your options. You can teach here, you can teach here, or you can teach here. But we want to be able to match you with the best community, best environment that you need to thrive as a teacher. One thing I know is this: teaching is the only profession where a first-year teacher and a 20-year veteran teacher are expected to get the same outcomes. Again, these young people need to know they need to be supported, but a first-year teacher coming to the classroom and a 20-year veteran, the principal, everybody expects them to have the same outcomes. We're the only profession. So really partnering to say, hey, we're here to support you. Even when you get your job, we're still going to support you with professional learning, coaching, and all of those things to make sure that your road into this realm of education is smooth.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to pose a question, and before I pose this question, I want to remind folks that they can submit questions in using the Q&A function down at the bottom of your Zoom window. For our scholars, this is a little bit off topic, but I imagine a lot of people would be curious. You know, we've all been struggling with the pandemic for a year or so now. You know, and I think we've all faced some challenges. What challenges, if any, have you faced as a university student during this unprecedented year?
Okay. I can say a challenge for me would be balancing trying to learn and engagement with the teachers through virtual. Is kind of hard. Building that connection with the teachers if you're not able to fully communicate all the time and understand and see how we feel about what we're learning, or if we get it or understand. And it goes for both parts. Like with cameras being turned off, you might not be able to see the student's face, and nonverbal communication is very important in learning as well. So that can be a key part of for the professors. Even they are great professors, but with virtual, they might not was accustomed to it or still trying to learn. So trying to learn how to use virtual learning and teach at the same time was kind of a challenge. So just trying to balance and stay with the teachers and learn. Both of us learn together was something that was kind of hard, but it took time and still taking time to get used to.
I can say that just like how I said with the River City Partnership and the cohort model, it's also been really hard to be away from your peers, from your friends, and also away from the teacher. Like I said, we've been placed around some really good teachers, but when you're in the online environment, it's pretty restricted. And I kind of look at with college, you know, you got to go through it to get through it, and or to get to it. I'm sorry. So, you know, the academics, you know, that's the work, but then, you know, enjoying your time with your teachers and your friends and your peers and all that stuff. That's kind of the reward from it. And it's kind of been taken away only because, you know, a significant event is happening right now, but that's been my biggest difficulty.
For me, it's just as what Braylon and Cody have said, but also the fact that we weren't able to get into those opportunities to reach out to schools and get into those events and opportunities to get involved in the classroom, which has been delayed, but I'm so excited that we get to go back this semester, hopefully, to you know, get that experience and get those connections going. But overall, it's been really hard to do that, and the aspect of the technology divide with the professors because they were rushed into it. So it's been difficult working with them and having that staying motivated and keeping that mindset of that we're going to be able to get through this. So that's been the toughest part for me.
We certainly appreciate you guys' persistence through the program. As you know, we've all dealt with the unique challenges the last year have posed to us. And I'd like to pose another question to Dr. Lowe, and that would be, what message would you like to leave with today's future Shelby County Schools teachers as they continue their teacher preparation journey?
Well, the message I would like to leave is continuously perfect your craft. Know that you cannot do this alone. We don't expect you to do it alone. We don't want you to get into this job and you feel like you have to go in a silo. We don't work in one room classrooms like they did in the early years back in the 1930s and 40s. Our schools are collaborative zones, collaborative pods. And just know if you're struggling with lesson planning, if you're struggling with rolling out standards and objectives, if you're struggling with developing high order questions or thinking, you have someone in that building to lean upon. You know, you're not going to be on your own. Iron sharpens iron, and you're coming into a profession where we not only develop teachers, but we manage talent, and we're all trying to create a great place to work. And we want you to come in and feel the positivity to create a great place to work. We want you to know that teaching is a noble profession, and our scholars can never be what they don't see. And these teachers that are coming into the classroom today, I've learned over the course of many years, you're doing your job, you're gonna have some students, one of these days are gonna work on your breaks. You're gonna have some students one day that come out of, you go to make an appointment and one of those students could be your doctor or your nurse. I've had it happen every time. And I've said to myself, oh, I thank God. I said, I'm so glad I had a good relationship with this student because they say, hey, Dr. Lowe, you remember me? And it's just, it just really pays off when you see your students, you're being called back to the doctor's office and it's your student that's behind, that's the doctor. Or it's your student that's working on your car, that's doing special service to your car. There's one thing, you know, you want to treat all your students right. You don't want to have a bad relationship with a student and they end up working on your brakes because you want to be able to stop your car. So again, continue to develop relationships and they will pay off great dividends in the future as you get older. But just know you don't have to work in a silo. You don't have to do it alone. You are here and we're going to continue to help you create a great place to work. And we're going to develop you and we're going to do our best to lean forward and push you forward to become the best teacher, knowing your instructional craft is possible.
Thank you, Dr. Lowe. I have a question that's been submitted from the audience. This one is for Amy. And it is, what would you say to other corporate partners who are interested in collaborative ventures like the River City Partnership?
I think, you know, talk to the experts, the people out there that are doing this work. You know, we've talked to so many community partners that are in this field of education and asked them, what can we we are not educators. And so we have to trust, and there's incredible talent, incredible organizations and leaders in our community that spent a lot of time looking at this. The first step is to do a lot of listening to those experts out there, and how we as a corporate partner can be most effective and helpful to them. But how it can be a true relationship. As I mentioned, connect our people, connect our products to this work. And so, you know, we want our volunteers to be involved in these programs, and how we can work in our schools as well. And just how can we be a true partner? And this program has allowed us to.
I think we're having a little bit of technical difficulties. So we've had another question submitted from the audience, and that's to our scholars. What advice would you have to some of your fellow classmates in college, or some of your some high schoolers who are coming up who are considering going into education and being a teacher? What sort of advice or words of wisdom would you have for them?
My advice to them would be pursue it as their heart desires. And also, you know, I would let them know that, as Dr. Lowe said, within Shelby County Schools, but as well as just within the College of Education at the University of Memphis, all of the teachers, you can tell as soon as you meet them, they're ready to help you. I mean, they're all amazing, even with our advisor, Ms. Tillis, Dr. Hall, Dean Hill Clark. I mean, they're all there all the time for anything that we need, for any help that we need. And that's something that we all really appreciate. And that's something that I would definitely make incoming students aware of.
Mine would be perseverance. I wouldn't say that it's hard, because we have, like Cody talked about, fail proof. We have so many amazing professors and staff that's help us and will guide you in the right direction, but it's not going to be easy. You have to just have a great mindset of wanting to change the world, and keep your reason for teaching, always stick to it and always live by it, because it's going to help you in the end. It's going to help you grow as a professor. You're going to learn way more about teaching, and that's pretty much all you're going to think about after every class. How can I do this in my classroom, or how can this help me? So if you're looking to teach, just stick with it and persevere. It's going to be a challenge, but it's going to be really worth it at the end.
I would say to people pursuing education that it's very vital that you stick to your personality, because your perspective will help impact students, and you don't have to change how you think when you go into teaching, because your perspective on life and your experiences can be used in the classroom to help students grow. And it's amazing when you connect to those students and you get that feedback from them. It just changes your whole perspective, and it keeps you motivated.
Thank you so much for those words of wisdom, and thank you, Bria, Cody, and Braylon, for joining us today, and for choosing to go into the education profession. I know as you know, someone who, it's been a while since I've been in school, but I appreciate folks like you who are dedicated to going into the classroom and you know, helping shape the minds and lives of young people across the nation. So thank you. I also want to thank Dr. Lowe and Ms. Grove for joining us today, and for all that you guys do to advance education in Memphis and Shelby County. We are very appreciative of your partnerships with us, and for all that you do for our community.
Thank you. Thank you.
At this time, I would like to turn it back over to my colleague Vanita, and let her wrap this up in a nice little bow for us. Vanita?
Thank you, Matt. Again, I just want to thank everyone for joining us today. I hope that you were inspired by our students and challenged to think about ways that you can help us change the narrative of teaching as a profession. I was really enjoyed Dr. Lowe's conversation about knowing your students and seeing them out in public and being really pleased to see their progress and their growth. And so that's really what this program is all about, is just growing our students and growing our education circles and making sure that we have people that are out impacting lives. If you are interested in learning more about how you can support River City, please feel free to reach out to myself, Kimberly, or Matt. And I think that we have our emails are listed here as well. And I know that there were some technical difficulties for people logging in today, so that we have recorded this and it will be shared out. So we'll post this online. And if you have a colleague or a friend that you think would like to know more about River City, please, please, please share this with them, because we're doing some very impactful work here at the College of Education. And we're really proud to be a part of the community in response to the community needs. And excuse me, that's my dog barking. But thank you all again for joining us.